Hello, 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 viewers around the world. We are back at it again. Nostalgia. Nostalgia, we're doing our 13th edition, and Nostalgia has been bringing stories, looking back at stories and scores of global musical legend in our time. And today, we're looking deep into three more legends. You're welcome to Nostalgia. Before we go on, before I bring on my brother and friend, let's see a clip of how it is with Nostalgia. Let's see one of the icons we're looking at today. Let's just take a look back before we begin to talk about him. And that's no other person than Louis Armstrong.
I see trees of green, I see them blue for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed days, dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the skies, also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, I watch them grow, they'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
That's Louis Daniel Armstrong. Louis Daniel Armstrong, born August 4, 1901, and passed on July 6, 1971. Louis Daniel Armstrong, nicknamed Satchmo. Satch, some people call him Sarge, and some people call him Pops. Louis Daniel Armstrong was an American trumpeter and a vocalist. He is among the most influential figure in jazz music. His career spanned for 5 decades and different eras in the history of jazz. I listened to Louis Armstrong, and you don't know how much his music influenced me. Louis Armstrong was born and raised in New Orleans in America, and coming into prominence in the 1920s as a trumpet and cornet player. That was how he came into prominence. Louis Armstrong was a foundational influence in jazz music till today. Shifting the focus of the music, he shifted the focus of jazz music from that improvised way of how it used to be to solo performance. So in many cases, he performed all alone. Louis Daniel Armstrong, around 1922, he followed his mentor. There was somebody that mentored him called Joe King Oliver. He followed Joe King Oliver to Chicago to play in the then jazz band. And Louis Armstrong spent a lot of his time playing popular music, connecting with friends, which earned him the reputation of cutting contests. He earned that. It was like an arrangement, a competition for jazz back then, and this gave him that he was able to come very on top on that particular contest. Now that made Louis Armstrong become very prominent. He began traveling. He married. He played together with his wife at the point, and he formed his own hot jazz band. After years of touring, moving around, he settled in Queens. And by 1950, Louis Armstrong was a national musical icon. National musical icon. His appearance in radio and TV and film and so many concerts earned him also wealth. Louis Armstrong was able to make some real good fortune. Louis Armstrong was very influential and a very skillful improviser. He played the trumpet very well. He played the horn, blending the lyrics and the melody of music together in a very unique way. Louis Armstrong also was skilled at, he was known for using his voice. He had a beautiful voice. And he also had this influence on people with the way he sings, with his face and the expression on all over his body. Louis Armstrong was the African American first entertainer that really caught the attention of the white people. He had white audience. In fact, he had white audience to a point that they thought he was being too white, because the white people loved his music. Louis Armstrong, Satchmo. Louis Armstrong was able to also cut across different echelon of the American society at that time, what a lot of Black people couldn't achieve. He did that. He acted in some movies alongside other actors. He was in some films, and he had 3 Grammy Award nominations. And he won a vocal performance for his song, Hello, Dolly. Hello, Dolly. It's Louis, Dolly. These are beautiful songs I play and gives me some real motivation. So Louis Armstrong was a known figure. He was prominent in his days. He was loved by the American public. He was a great performer. He knew how to entertain the crowd with his expression, with his music. But to an extent, he lived a very private life too. And at that time, he was able to blend between his own life and his entertainment life. Louis Armstrong remained politically neutral. He didn't want to get into politics, but that didn't go well with a lot of Black people who looked at him as not speaking out in the time of the huge civil human rights movement in America. And however, it was said that he criticized the president then, Henry Hoover, for not acting forcefully enough on the civil rights. Louis Armstrong played the horn so much that he had lips problem with playing the horn. He suffered from lip damage. Over much of his life was due to, the lip damage was due to the aggressive style of his playing the cornet, the trumpet. So he had that mouth, lips problem, and that thing stayed for a long time. At the point, he had to stay off music. He had to stay off the horn for a year so he could heal, the wound could heal. But he continued to play. He toured Europe in the 30s. He toured around the world and became a major ambassador for a brand of ointment that was used to heal lips in those days. So he was making he became an official spokesman for that cream, that product, lip product. A lot of time, people have said that Louis Armstrong's music had a way it touches their lives, you know. So Louis Armstrong actually felt he had pneumonia while he was on tour in Italy, and doctors were concerned about his lungs and his health. But he bounced back at a point, but at a point he couldn't take it. So Louis Aremu Armstrong, the first jazz musician to appear on the cover of a popular magazine called Time magazine on February 21, 1949. Louis Aremu Armstrong. Let's hear something again from Louis. Let's see something from Louis.
Hello, Dolly. This is Louis, Dolly. Mighty glad to have you back where you belong. You lookin' swell, Dolly. I can tell, Dolly. You keep going, still going, you still going strong. Yeah, bro. Never. My old favorite tunes going back with. Oh, yeah, my. And no rap, fellas, what? Them to get on it down.
Wow, that's Louis Aremu Armstrong. Dr. Sita, I see there's small network issue there, but we're talking Louis Armstrong. Louis Aremu Armstrong. Now, one thing that has to be said is the fact that apart from him being the first jazz artist to appear on the cover of Time magazine, Louis Armstrong he paved the way for jazz music today. Yes, Louis Armstrong paved the way for jazz music. His voice, his style of playing the music earned him a reputation as a cutting-edge artist. He had his style, great style. Louis Aremu Armstrong. Louis Armstrong was also very skillful in singing. Very, very skillful in singing. So that's Louis Aremu, and we are looking back at Louis Aremu Armstrong. Take note that his music influenced also many Black people in Africa, and a lot of other artists we'll be looking back at today came from that line. You know, they had that same style, gifts, creativity of blowing the horn, blowing the cornet, blowing the trumpet, and blowing it to make beautiful sound. Yes, Dr. Sita, are you there? Are you with me? Good. So we go again to another artist that has touched the life of people with the horn. In this time, we're coming back to Africa. We're coming to Nigeria. And that's a man, I also listen to his music. Remember, this is Nostalgia, and we're looking back at Louis Aremu Armstrong. Now we're looking at Orlando Owoh. Orlando Owoh. Orlando Owoh was born 1932, and he passed on 2008. He was a highlife musician also, and a band leader of his band. He was born Stephen Oladipupo. Stephen Oladipupo Olaore in Osogbo. He was born to a family that were Christians then. The father came from a town called Ifo in Ondo State, and the mother was from Owoh. Now, this man was able to make music sound so nice because he brought humor into music. He was bringing philosophical insights to music with humor, with everything together. So as a young man, Orlando Owoh initially worked as a carpenter for a living until 1958, when he was hired back then by a group, a theater group called Kola Ogunmola Theater Group. He was called to play the drums and to sing, and that spurred his talent. Orlando Owoh went from that point to form his own band, Dr. Orlando Owoh and the Omimah Band. Omimah Band, yes, that's it. Omimah Band. He formed that band in 1960, and that career stretched for about 40 years, becoming one of the leading proponents of highlife music. Highlife music. Yes, Orlando Owoh with his band went on to sing great songs. When they again they changed their name to the Young Kenneries. Dr. Osita, where have you been?
Network, man. I am so angry, man.
And
I am so frustrated, but I'm fine. I'm here. I'm good. I've been listening to you, man. I've been following you.
Okay. Listen, it's not complete when you're not there. I just touched on, we just touched on Louis Aremu. Louis Aremu. Dr. Sita, we just touched on there. Okay. So that's Dr. Sita. We're having slight network issue. Well, it's not a problem. So we're talking about young Orlando Owoh and his Young Kenneries. The African Kenneries International was a band Orlando Owoh formed, and this band went on to give us great song. Great song. Orlando Owoh gave us songs that will make you think, like I said, philosophical songs, songs that will put you online, songs that will make you want to reflect in life issues. Orlando Owoh. Orlando Owoh also, sadly, he passed on anyway, but he brought, there was something he did, and that was, he was able to make what people thought was a life that was, he made the miscreants, you know, what we call hooligans back in the days, area boys or whatever you call them. He made them look very responsible because his song was attracting this group of people, and when you're with them, you realize they're not what the society think they are. They are just young people that want to socialize and be happy, you know. So Orlando Owoh is my man, and I think I have one jam here that
John na corner pushing on a jaw. Yellow CC John na corner putting on a jaw. Oh, what it cause you matter? Oh, what can you tell me? What it cause you matter? Oh, what can you tell me? What can you tell me? Why you do me so? Oh, what can you tell me? Why you do me so? What can you tell me? Why you do me so? Oh, what can you tell me? Why you do me so? What can you tell me? Why you do me so? What can you tell me? Why you do me so?
That's Orlando Owoh. Yellow CC, sit down for corner and put your hand for jaw. Yellow CC, sit down for corner and put the hand for jaw. Now, he brings storyline into music, stories into music. How else can you have good stories incorporated into melody if it's not from Orlando Owoh? You know? And one thing again that must be said is the fact that he did not just do this thing to, he did not just do it, he was doing it because he had love for what he was doing. He really, really loved the music he was playing, the sound he was creating, and he was able to put out melodious tune. Orlando Owoh. Yellow CC, sit down for corner and put the hand for jaw. So we're doing something new on Nostalgia. And what we're going to do on Nostalgia is to get our listeners, our viewers involved by commenting on their favorite old school artists, commenting and telling us who they think should also come online. Tell us more on what you think about any of the artists we've done so far. Let us know your views, your side of it. These are legends in the music, in the entertainment world. Orlando Owoh, we just talked about him now. So now we go to another man, another name that sounds similar to Orlando. That's another Orlando again. So the creative men are mostly called Orlandos. So now we're looking at Orlando Julius Aremu. Orlando Julius Aremu, popularly known as Orlando Julius. That's another great star. Sadly, he passed on not too long ago, on April the 14th, 2022. He was born 22nd of September 1943. Orlando Julius was a Nigerian saxophonist, a singer, also band leader, songwriter, and is mainly associated with the Afrobeat music. So you see now that the Afrobeat music has not just been Wow. Orlando Julius. Orlando Julius. Dr. Sita, are you there this time? Are you there?
I hope I am. I hope I am.
Sorry. I know how annoying it could be, the network, but don't worry. Listen, we have you covered. And it's going pretty well. We're looking into global.
My heart is bleeding, my brother. My heart is bleeding.
No, don't worry. Listen, you're a great man. There are things sometimes you can't. I mean, if you can't help, it's not your fault. The network is a problem in Africa, and it's not your fault. So listen, Dr. Sita, we did Louis Aremu.
I was here. I was at backstage, but just you couldn't see me. Yeah,
that man is my. I mean, I have loads and loads of Aremu's jam, all of it, sax.
I know. But those of us who are his fans, that's what he does to all of us. And you are right. People were wondering why he wasn't involved in politics.
Yes.
Like Bob Marley, like all the musicians who talked about the things that happened to them. But Louis Daniel Armstrong was unique to himself. And the beauty of his entire life was that he hurt nobody. And all the way, yes, he was friends with everybody, black, white, yellow, whoever you are. But like you said, the whites loved him. You know why? Because he played white music.
Yes.
He played white music, and the man loved his trumpet. His lips became the oh boy, they call it Sackmo syndrome. It became a very unique ailment. In his days, and even till now, Sackmo syndrome. Will be researched into. Research it. You see there. Yes. It is the puffing of the chops. When you see Louis Armstrong, he was just the master of his game.
He was unique master of his game. But you know what I observed there, listening to his music. What I think happened was Louis was playing a black music, but the thing is his expression and the way he carried it made the.
That's what I'm saying. His foundation was singing the greatest. Yes,
that Negro spiritual kind of feeling.
He sold it to his white audience, and they bought it because of him.
He sold it. In Germany, in France, in Italy,
everywhere. Even in Africa, even in Nigeria. I mean, Aremu was Aremu, man.
On radio, the way he puts his face, I see black.
On radio, in my days on radio, we celebrated Aremu. No jazz producer will do any jazz program without Aremu.
Wow.
It was the beauty of the time. Aremu was it. Louis Armstrong, he was master of his game. And then we mourned him when he passed on too. We mourned him, we celebrated him when he passed on. One of those few musicians, global musician, global artistry, global stagecraft. He was amazing.
Wow.
He was amazing.
Nice, and I'm happy I'm talking with you again. Now,
yes, I'm so sorry. My network put me backstage, man.
The second guy we did was Orlando Owoh, and I know you know him too.
The storyteller. Baba comedy.
Everything won. He turned music to humor, and he brought in what was that word in the literature again? Into music.
Oh yeah. He was very satirical. Satire was his game.
Satire was the game.
Yes, he was the man was too much. Because also too, in his time, he needed to carve his own niche. There were other highlife musicians who were doing so very well. I mean, across the Niger, there in Midwest. So Orlando was just there doing his own thing. And his thing was brilliant. Because he had a crowd for himself. And he will first of all yap himself before he yaps the other person. That was what he was doing. It was so much fun. He will first of all talk that on himself and then go to the next person, just like Anukulakpo, he will
Yes.
just be there, blabbing. And then people listen to him. He has so much followership. He had real fans that would give their lives for him. Yeah, they followed him. Dr. Orlando, fantastic guy. Yes. When he got older, yes, he slowed down a little bit. Was now smoking very, not as often as he used to smoke because he was a chain smoker. Yeah, boy. I remember him so very well.
Yes, smoking the senses, spliff.
Yeah.
Maybe that was what was giving him the creativity too.
Yeah, absolutely. He did so well. Nothing compared with him. He was unique in his own field, very unique. And then he also had followership among the traditional rulers. They loved him so much.
Okay.
They loved him so much. He would go sit with them and sing for them and then give them beautiful evenings, and at that point they were just friendship, not so much for money. Yeah, so much friendship. He had everything to give and people loved him so much. And apart from that, he made money because people paid to come and see him. Lagos was agog with his music. Yeah.
Nostalgia.
Amazing.
Nostalgia,
Yes,
we're looking at great men, great legends. We're looking at people that paved the way to what we have today. And we just looked at Julius Aremu, Orlando Owoh, and Big Brother, before you came in, I was looking into Orlando Julius, the other Orlando.
The other Orlando, oh my goodness, fantastic. Oh boy, you had them lined up for today, man. Oh my God, my network messed me up.
No. We're still there.
Fantastic.
Or the other Orlando. So the other Orlando was also doing great in his time. And he passed on not too long ago.
Oh yeah. He died quite old. Yes.
We celebrated him here. That day he passed, we had a program and we had to do a minute of silence for him because these
that was fantastic.
Yes. We had a minute of silence because these are the legends that created what we have now. I mean, Burna Boy shutting down Madison Square last week. Is coming from these roots. Coming from these roots. I mean, if we didn't
these ones paved the way, really. They paved the way because before he died, before Orlando Julius died last month, we were actually thinking that one day everybody who used to know him would gather with him as an old man, and then talk him a little bit, with his age and everything else. And then all of a sudden we had that our unique band leader, the man of the times, all his time, in all his generations, we saw him as when you talk about Kokoma, those days, it was him, he created it. He played the drums, he played flute, he played trumpet, he played everything. And his highlife music was copied everywhere, even in Ghana.
Yes.
Even in Ghana, people were on stage singing his songs,
This is wonderful. Who
Eddie Okonta called his Egbon. You remember Eddie Okonta now?
Yes, Eddie. We're going to look through Eddie. Yes, we've not looked back at Eddie and Rex Lawson. Have we looked at Rex Lawson and Eddie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because for the first time, a musician dared to combine traditional music with jazz. For the first time. That was why when he played Jaguanana, it became a hit song first week. Because people never saw that before. Yes. That was bravery. That was courage. He just moved traditional music into high life, limelight, and stayed there with it. Yes. Those people have courage, man. This guy was too much. It was just too much. We were just watching him. When you watch him play, okay, so a little before the war, a little before the Biafran War, there was this, there was this very quick gig, that everybody was saying, it was the war was going to start soon. But he was just there, very courageous man, playing for everybody. And we were all happy because by the end of the day, as children, we said to ourselves, This is Nigeria. These are Nigerians. When
Yes, these are Nigerians, and they needed to come back to.
and after he became the man of the moment. As the war was ending, when young boys were playing their own new young music, he stayed with what he created. So when wife was playing in Benin City, Anukulakbo was playing in Lagos, there were other musicians too who had their own crowd, and he was one of them, and his crowd was real. No, Orlando Julius was something else. Yes.
Nice.
Aremu.
You just came in
Baba
and
Aremu.
Nice. You just came in and
sir.
slammed it now. So this is it. We've looked at it. We've looked back at this great legend, Orlando Julius, Louis Daniels, Louis Satchmo, and Orlando
Owoh. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your selection, man. These are great guys globally that can never die.
You had it. You have that insight. You know, when you bring one of it, it gives me back those memories too. And
I mean, you are a great guy.
We want our viewers to stay put, more great legend, more insight. You see, this is good with what we're doing, Dr. Sita, because we're in a time when people are fast moving and nobody's recognizing the past. Nobody's saying, listen, some people did this. So nobody's also celebrating them, paying tribute to them, the ones that have died. And it's not fair because they did their thing and they made what we have today. It's coming from the block, you know. So
from the foundation, brilliant foundation, consistent
brilliant
foundation. It was amazing, man. I mean, I remember growing up, you know, with these musicians. You go sit in front, sit on the floor, and listen to them preach to you, and they change your evenings. You know, amazing stuff, man. Amazing stuff.
Thank you very much. That's it for today. More artists to come, more things to do. Very soon we could be asking our viewers to suggest some nostalgic artists. Yes.
Viewer's choice.
We'll call it viewer's choice. Yeah. That's it. Viewer's choice. Viewers' choice. Yes. Dr. Sita, thank you very much. I'm happy.
Thank you. And my apologies again for the network problem.
No, brother. That's
next
no problem.
Will be better. I will have changed locations. Yes.
Thank you very much. So on this note, we want to say thank you to our viewers. Nostalgia edition 13 was what we just did, and it's moving. We're looking at these people. We're checking them. We're giving them the accolade they deserve. And we're telling the world that humanity has something, and it's been wonderful. Thank you. So until we come your way next week again, stay tuned, stay put, nostalgia. Bye-bye.